That'll be good.
The holiday tradition, a Birkwood Farm ham. It's the highlight of the meal, the centerpiece of the table. It's what brings families together. The Iowa tradition from Iowa farmers. Birkwood Farms hams are gluten, MSG, allergen, and nitrate free. Buy yours now at the Birkwood Farm store on the south side of Ankeny or at betterpork.com. Order yours today. Your family's favorite holiday memory, a Birkwood Farm ham.
Attention all campers.
Keith Murphy.
What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Andy Fales.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway.
Powered by AD.
Just a bit outside.
Murph and Andy. Proudly presented by Ramsey Subaru and BMW of Des Moines. Live and on demand across Iowa everywhere from the Channel Seed Studios. Murph and Andy. Connected by Cellular Advantage.
Let's do it. Welcome to Murph and Andy here on a fun Friday alongside Andy Fales and Andrew Downs. I'm Keith Murphy coming at you from the Channel Seed Studio. And Andy, do you think AD has time to produce this show today, or shouldn't he be filling merch orders? I mean, apparently that's like today is the final push. You're going to make it by Christmas, and he's been busy. He's like an elf.
Well, he's modeling he's modeling right now.
I am.
How's it going? How's it going? Are you?
It's
overwhelmed?
going great. No,
Okay.
no, not yet. I will be next week because, as we've said before, these are all made-to-order items. So right now, it's just taking orders. It's kind of keeping myself organized and that sort of a thing. But next week, I'm going to be making a couple hundred shirts and hoodies and hats, and then shipping those out. So
Is that the Richardson 112 you're wearing there?
yes, it is absolutely.
See that hat?
Right.
So just get it in by the end of today,
Get it in by the
and
end
you
of
can still make it by Christmas anywhere in the United States.
Yep, exactly. And I mean, if you order next week, I'll certainly do my best. But yeah, today's kind of the end of the guarantee because, again, I'm making all of these to order. And so in order to give me time to get them made and get them shipped out, today is the deadline.
Now, what comes with the guarantee? If you don't make it, do you go over to Christmas morning and apologize in person, or what's at stake here?
No comment.
All right.
Let's
The
just
Guest House
up and
Tavern,
drops
Guest
it
House
down there,
Tavern
Jim.
and Oyster in West Des Moines sets the table for sports and more today, including the Cyclones chase history, Ferentz not retiring, and coming up and more, the Amish stripper. I don't know what that is, but I'm here for the whole show after hearing we're going to have an Amish stripper. But first, it's high or low since the last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Oh, there's a tease and then there's a tease. Simplify wealth with Wealth Charter in Ankeny. Andy, high or low?
I'm going to high. I got to get out on the road the past couple of days, get away from the anchor desk over at WHO 13, and I made a couple of trips to a couple of our favorite towns just to check in. On Wednesday, I went down to Greenfield to kind of do a little how you doing since the tornado story, as the hospital there was just officially reopening.
How is Greenfield doing?
It's doing really well. I was reminded, now it's been 6 months since that tornado back in May, and I was reminded of just how much damage that tornado did. It leveled half the town. And there are homes being built all over the place. I mean, there are so many construction crews in that town still in any given day. But there are a lot of lots that are empty that have not been rebuilt yet. There are some homes that still need to come the rest of the way down. There are some finished new homes that are ready to go and have their people living in them again. You kind of have all different levels of progress in the rebuild there. But I mean, it is good to see. It makes you feel good to see that the town is bouncing back like that. And Greenfield is a special town to us. We've done RVTV stops there. We've made friends there. We we have really good contacts there, and it was good to see a number of those people. Then yesterday I went down to another favorite town of ours, kind of opposite end of the spectrum. Nothing could be going better in Oskaloosa right now. But I wanted to I made a note to come back to Oskaloosa when we were doing RVTV, because the town is that's Musco Lighting's hometown, of course. Mm-hmm. And they're way into Christmas lights. And I love Christmas lights. And if you thought that maybe the home of Musco would do Christmas lights better than anybody else, well, you were right. It is incredible.
It's like a town full of Clark Griswolds.
It is. I mean, except they were, everything is really, it's classy. But they are just trying to light as much as they possibly can. I mean, they just have like sheets of lights draped down the fronts of buildings. They call it painting with lights. And basically every single night they fire it up at dusk. And from now through Christmas, you can go down there and see that. And this weekend on Saturday, they're having their Christmas parade. It's just this hallmark, old-fashioned, amazing Christmas parade like they have in A Christmas Story, where there's 65 different entries and, trains and bands and, all sorts of really intricate floats, everything from, church groups or just neighborhoods getting together all the way up to, like Musco putting together, professional grade floats. But it was really cool to see that. And, if you want to take a road trip this month, make it to Oskaloosa. I mean, hit Oskaloosa, hit Pella on the way back too. Those town squares look so great at this time of the year. But I had not been through Oskaloosa for Christmas, around Christmas, since I was a college student at Drake when Highway 63 or 163 went right through the middle of the town. It doesn't go through town anymore. It goes around the town. It's a 4-lane highway. So I've kind of missed that. So it was really good to get back to Oskaloosa, and it's bigger and better than ever.
We're going to go over some of the best nicknames for Iowa towns via Iowa Chill coming up a little bit later in the show. That's another tease. Not as good as the Amish stripper, but that's also coming up here on a fun Friday. I hate going low on a Friday, but I'm going low because it's just a passwords frustration. So, over at WHO 13, we have to change our password frequently. Our main one that gets us into most everything, access to the computer, to editing, to logging. It's at least 5 things. And I got notices from our company, Nexstar, over and over again that I needed to change the password. So I followed all the instructions in the email over and over again, and I couldn't get it to change. It kept saying, sorry, does not meet the minimum qualifications. So I kept thinking, and I'm talking about doing this repeatedly and over several days and several different emails. And I'm thinking, God, I can't believe I've used all of these passwords so recently that I can't get in. So I start trying to think way outside of the box, like, Amish stripper 1457 or just anything I can think of, put those in, still can't get in. So finally, and I hate to bug the engineers, they're busy. I contact Mark Hoffman over there and I say, Mark, I've tried many different days, many different times, and I can't get in. I can't change my password. It says I have 1 day left or I'm locked out of everything, which would be a big problem over at 13. And Mark goes, yeah, Nexstar changed the minimum amount of characters to 12, but didn't bother to tell anybody. So the email said 6 or 7 characters. So I'm trying all these combinations, none of which were 12 characters or more, over many frustrating days and attempts and taking time away from my work to do this. And then Mark says, you know what, it's probably a good idea if I send an email to everybody here, since Nexstar's emails that are coming from the company don't point out this huge change that it has to be at least 12 characters. How about adding that next time? So frustrating. Just a little thing, but that was my low frustration.
I changed my password last week or the week before, and I kind of had some of the same stuff, and nobody told me anything. I was like, what? Why can't I haven't, I was thinking of passwords, like all new passwords I know I hadn't used before. But then it, like in the fine print there, it said that it needed to be at least 12 characters long. I saw that. There is a way to find that without the email. But I was like, 12 characters?
I know.
Do we really need 12 characters here to keep people out of our email? Well, I mean, what is the worst that could happen? I mean, a terrorist drives up to the front of the building, gets out, somehow scores a key card from somebody, gets into the building. They come, they log onto your computer. What are they going to edit a bunch of, really crappy, poorly centered video and somehow play it on the air? I mean, there is no real risk of anything bad happening with anybody breaking in there. I mean, it's our work passwords. It's
I know,
our work email.
Most all of these things we have to log into do not have that default where you can stay logged in. So now with this 12 character password with uppercase, lowercase, special character, all of that, I have to do that every time I do a graphic, every time I write, every time I edit, every time I log into our server.
Yeah.
It's just the little minutiae of the world. A lot of people out there can relate to it. All right, interact with us on YouTube. Email Murph_Andy@iowaeverywhere.com. That is also X. It's Murph_Andy. It's all powered by Cellular Advantage, 35 regional locations, and proud partner with U.S. Cellular since 1993. Right now on Murph and Andy, let's get the buzz.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
All right, the buzz is Iowa State playing its biggest football game in history. I haven't heard any pushback on that, and there shouldn't be. Iowa State can win the Big 12 championship and will go to the college football playoff with a win. Whoever wins this game. Also, it's one of the more interesting conference championships, if not the most interesting, because the stakes are so big. The winner is in the college football playoff. The loser is out, likely out. That's the way it looks. So, Andy, this is everything you want from a championship game, as championship games are being reevaluated, whether they should even be played. But this one's being played with high stakes in a couple of different ways.
Does the buzz feel as loud as it should to you? Does it feel like can you step outside and taste the anticipation for this game? I cannot.
Maybe not to the level that I would
understand.
expect, but maybe that's because so much of the conversation is being dominated by frustration with the college football playoff committee, and the conferences are just all in these pissing contests of who deserves what. So I think that is taking away from the buzz. I think we'd have to ask Cyclone fans if they feel like the buzz is what you would expect.
And I don't want to, I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm not trying to
get you.
say that I don't think that Iowa State is a big deal. I think that, first of all, this is kind of new, right? I mean, the college football playoff aspect is new. The conference championship game is not, but having the college football playoff on the other side of it is new to us. So we're still sort of figuring out. I mean, you got to go through it at least once to really understand understand what's at stake. You know, what you'll miss out on, what you will be, what you'll be able to have access to if you win. We don't understand that yet, so it's uncharted territory. So we're kind of like stepping into a bit of an abyss here, and so maybe that is what is tamped down a bit of the buzz here. I mean, the NCAA tournament, if you're going to the Final Four, it's a Final Four game, or it's a game to go to the Final Four. You know exactly what's on the other side of that, right?
Yeah.
You know how that feels. You know what that looks like. You've seen other fan bases, celebrate those kind of things. Even if you haven't done it, you've seen other examples that have been set before you, so you know what you will do. Here, it's sort of like you're not really sure. You know you're going to be excited. Of course, it's going to be big, but you can't picture yourself in that position right now.
It's also this weird thing where, like, the Penn State-Oregon game, like, those teams, it should be a huge game to see these two teams play, but there's nothing on the line because both teams are already in the playoff, whereas Iowa State, Arizona State, there's everything on the line. The winner goes to the playoff, but they're not big national brands. The winner's probably going to be the 12 seed, and so that kind of national buzz isn't there. So, yeah, it's a weird situation.
And even in this situation, we could tell that the way that a college football champion is determined, it's really screwed up. I mean, you just can't get a perfect system with the kind of division that exists between all of these conferences, and that they play each other and that they knock each other off as they go through the schedule. But AD's right, and I think he's also showing why these conference championships are likely in imminent danger of being done away with. They'll find a way to make that money back and make more, or they won't do away with them. That's the way it works. And they'll figure that out by expanding the playoffs. But right now, Andrew just said something that I've said. There's nothing at stake between Penn State and Oregon. Well, the Big Ten championship is at stake. But it doesn't feel like that's any big deal. Because the Penn State fans and the Oregon fans are just waiting to see who they're playing in the college football playoff and how far they can advance in that playoff, and maybe can they win that playoff. So that's a crazy world. Times have changed. They're not talking Big Ten championship. And AD, maybe that leads us right into a quickie poll here from WCI Polls and Spas, because it kind of asks that question.
Yeah, which would be a bigger deal for Cyclone football? A Big 12 championship win or making the college football playoff field?
Okay, and we understand that one leads into the other, but which do you think does more?
Well, but
Cyclone
this
football?
Right here tells you a lot. I think this speaks volumes here, because this is essentially the same question that we ask with basketball. You know, what's a bigger deal? Winning your, what would you rather do? Win your conference tournament, or, go to the NCAA tournament? Which is, would you rather win your conference, or would you rather go to the NCAA? It's always go to the NCAA tournament. Whatever is put up against that answer always loses. It's go to the NCAA tournament. But the NCAA tournament is something that we know, we understand that. We've been there a million times. We know how that feels, what a big deal it is to be included on that first day of March Madness, right? I mean, the whole country is paying attention to it. Everybody's excited about it. And to have a dog in that fight, I mean, you're in, right? I mean, that tournament is immediately twice as interesting as it was without your team involved. But we haven't been through the college football playoff into 12-team format yet and experienced that. So I think that's probably part of what we're experiencing right now, and maybe part of that early vote in the quickie poll.
Yeah, it's a tough question. I think it should be a bigger deal to win the outright Big 12 championship. But even that with these mega conferences is kind of flawed, because you're in a four-way tie, and two of the teams you're tied with, you're not going to play, and they don't have an opportunity to play this out. You're in this complicated tiebreaker formula. So I think long-term, it's probably a bigger deal in this environment to be in the college football playoff. It certainly would be a bigger deal for recruiting. Here are Cyclone players and Coach Matt Campbell on the opportunity ahead tomorrow.
It was surreal. I think it was an opportunity that we had all been looking forward to and anticipating, and to obviously have it cemented and send ourselves down to Arlington this weekend, I think was obviously something we've been waiting for.
I think the reality of what this group has stood for is, since January, we've been working to believe that we could be a team that could be here in this moment.
It means a lot. It means the world to me and to this team. We're making history. We're making history. So that's what we're trying to do, and I'm real excited for that.
Yeah, that's always been the goal since the beginning. I wanted to be able to come here and contribute to a championship team. So to be able to help this team get to the point where it is now, it's a special moment.
We've been telling ourselves this whole year that we was going to get there, and now that we're here, we got to just keep going and keep maintaining what we've been doing.
Our mentality here, we're just trying to take it as the next game. Not look at it too high. Of course, it's hard because it's a Big 12 championship, but this is what we expected, to be here in this moment, and just take it one play at a time.
Jaden Higgins, more than 1,000 yards receiving and 9 touchdowns, and second team All Big 12. Also the highest rated player in this championship game by Pro Football Focus. So that video, courtesy of Mark Freund and WHO 13. Mark's down in Arlington now. Iowa State or Arizona State winning, Andy, I think still could pass into bye territory by passing by Boise State. You look at this, and the Broncos have 0 Power 4 wins, 0 wins over Power 4 teams. Iowa State and Arizona State have 8 Power 4 wins each, and Arizona State has beaten 3 ranked teams. So I think there is the possibility that the Big 12 champ moves into that bye, and this game's a toss-up.
Yeah, and I know there are a lot of people that are looking ahead like that and weighing the possibilities. I'm not. I'm just thinking, at this point, you can't even entertain a thought of what might lie on the other side of this game, because this game is, you cannot overstate how big this game is for Iowa State. I mean, it's a conference championship. It is a win on a stage that you have not won on before. It's and it's an invitation to this first ever college football playoff in this format. So just win this game, right? Just and then worry about all the rest of that stuff later on. That's what the Cyclones have done well these past couple of weeks, past 3 weeks. They have taken one game at a time. They've taken one half at a time. And they have, just kept their nose to the grindstone. And then, each win has opened a new gate of possibilities. And that's what'll happen here. I mean, I know that it's fun to go in deep about, what might happen and who might leapfrog who and who might get left out and all that kind of stuff. I don't think anybody in this fan base should be thinking about that for a second. They should just be like, Arizona State is going to be a really tough opponent. And they got to win that game. And it's going to be weird. The fact that I had twice today, I had to remind myself that I got to remember to be in game position early tomorrow. You don't have the whole day.
I'm going to be parked over at Confluence. The College Football Playoff Committee has everyone in a tizzy right now, including the athletic directors. Only Oregon has no flaws. So fans of any team that's in or on the bubble or on the outside looking in, they are all looking for the data, the metrics that favor them. They're saying the things that are positive and ignoring the things that are negative, and everybody's doing it. All fans are being fans, and athletic directors are looking through the lens of their own team. You get that. That's what we do. This happened the other night on X, formerly Twitter. So Jamie Pollard posts, disappointing that strength of schedule clearly does not matter for SMU, Indiana, and Boise State. Message is clear. Win as many games as possible, regardless of who you play. Time to rethink non-conference scheduling. Very different standards than the basketball committee, which he was on. Then the athletic director at SMU, Rick Hart, responds to Pollard's tweet. Jamie, respect you, but bad take. ISU had North Dakota, Iowa, Arkansas State, non-con. SMU had Nevada, HCU, I don't even know what that is, TCU, BYU, and scrambled due to Vandy dropping.
Is that Holy Cross?
Maybe, not sure.
Is it Howard Curtisman University?
I don't know, but it doesn't. The fact we can't identify the letters quickly doesn't strengthen the case much. But anyway, SMU, one of 2 to win all conference games, one of 3 with 9 P4 wins, trailed a total of 6 minutes the last 9 games. I could go on. Stay off my lawn.
Everybody's got their their resume argument, right?
Yeah.
Right
and
now
they
they've all
just take
they've
the part
committed it
that
to memory.
Works.
Yeah.
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 Use the stuff that makes you look good. Ignore the stuff that doesn't. So do you think Jamie just lets that go? No, he doesn't.
Oh, hell no.
Hell no. And we love this about him. So Jamie Pollard answers, Rick, beat Clemson Saturday and I will respect your ranking. Until then, you did not play Clemson, Miami, Georgia Tech, or Syracuse and lost to BYU at home. Looks like your lawn may be artificial.
It's a pretty good comeback.
That's a good line. Looks like your lawn may be artificial. Yeah, and then he could come back. The BYU AD could come back and say, "Yeah, you didn't play you didn't play BYU or Colorado or Arizona State until Saturday." You could go back and forth. Really, only Oregon can sit back and just go, "Yeah, you got nothing on us. We've done it all."
Yeah, and nobody can control any of this, right? I mean, you can only play the teams that were on your schedule, but you're trying to make this. You're trying to make an argument from a playing field that has 20 different levels on it, right? I mean, there are you can't. It's just apples to oranges all over the place. There's no really good way to do it. But you know what? First of all, this tells you that we're doing something right here because everybody wants to be a part of this. They're taking it seriously. They're making an argument.
There's more talk, more debate.
Even this kind of talk leads you to believe that in future seasons, there's a chance that we have to get rid of some of these bullshit non-conference games that nobody cares about, because you've got to be building your argument at this point, and it's not like a basketball season where you have 3 times as many games.
You do understand what Pollard and others are saying, that no matter what anyone says about how tough the schedule looks, at least the way it's played out so far with the College Football Playoff Committee, it does look better if you're 11-1 like Indiana than if you played a really tough schedule and you're 9-3 or 10-2. The 11-1 does look better, and that's kind of what Pollard, I think, is saying in that. But there are comebacks from all directions. Want to know if you agree with me on this, Andy? AD, want to get your opinion too. I feel like no team that didn't reach the conference championship game in this current system, if you don't play in your conference championship game, you should not pass the loser of anyone's conference championship game. You should not benefit by not reaching your championship game or be punished by losing your championship game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Agree?
It's totally logical. Yeah. I mean, somebody could paint you a scenario, though, where they could make a strong argument that might actually make sense. But, I mean, this has happened time and again in college football, and it's maddening. Yeah, I mean, you have these 2 top teams in a conference that play each other in the championship. And then how in the world could a team that wasn't even involved in that championship be given access to something that the 2 teams that did play wouldn't get? I mean, that doesn't make logical sense. But, then again, we're not putting any actual scenarios in front of anybody right now.
And we're conflicted because it is more interesting with Alabama in, but Alabama should not be in, having lost to Vanderbilt and getting smoked by Oklahoma. But let's get to a fun fact here. Fun fact: a former Pac-12 school could win the Big 12. A former Pac-12 school could win the Big 10. A former AAC school could win the ACC. And a former Big 12 school could win the SEC. So the SEC bootlickers need to calm down a little bit. It's not the only conference that has good football teams.
Yeah, but man, it's a lot to get your mind around still, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It just spins you around like, oh, yeah.
Who's the former? Right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Arizona State. Oregon. Yeah, you're just going through that.
AAC,
Texas.
where was that? Yeah.
Remember the 2020 championship game? Going through the video last night, watching Mark Freund's story from Arlington and just going over some of these highlights that we had from 2020. So Oklahoma gets out to a really fast start here. I think it might have been 24-7 or so in this game. And it's it's all so bizarre because it's a very limited attendance. I think 20% maybe. So everybody's, doing that.
Yeah, they're playing
social distancing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then, or some leads the Cyclones back with 2 touchdowns. Then Purdy throws a late touchdown here.
Charlie Kohler.
And then Iowa State has the football with a chance to win. And at the end is driving. And Brock Purdy throws one of those bad Purdy interceptions where he ends up on his back foot, just kind of. We'll see it here in I think it's coming up in about 20 or 30 seconds here as Breece Hall scores 2 touchdowns. If I remember these highlights, we'll after the second Breece Hall touchdown, we'll get a shot of his mom in the stands.
We got
should be coming up. Testing my memory. Yes. Yes, I think that's his mom. Here's the pass, Andy. So Purdy rolling out, back foot into traffic, picked off, and that seals it.
Yeah.
Oklahoma wins it 27-21. And then you have that, the Brizard Trophy ceremony, and you see people in mass. Which
it was a good game. It was a really good game, and he got picked off in the end zone before that. You kind of missed that part, but yeah, it was a good game. I remember this was. I was trying to remember how I had to go and watch this, like upstairs on an antenna, for some reason. What station was this game? How did we get this game?
It was on ABC, like tomorrow's game is, but I'm not sure. I
had to use the antenna upstairs. I know that.
Maybe there was some dispute between DirecTV and ABC or something.
Oh yeah,
you might be
that
right.
Happened a million. Yep, I think that's probably right. I had to watch it on an antenna. It was a good game. They came back and you've forgotten how close that was. Who was that? Spencer
Rattler.
Rattler.
Yeah. Jeez, like.
He was
early portal guy. Grimaldi's fan photo winner is Tim Carver. Tim Carver and his family stormed the field in Ames last weekend, and now they're going to storm Grimaldi's in either West Des Moines or Ankeny. Looks like he's headed to the West Des Moines location, I'm told. So congratulations, Tim Carver. Man. Look how bundled up they are. That's how we were dressed. Just if you look fashionable, you're not doing it right.
Got one of those Carhartt zip-up hoodies that you can get like dragged down a street. Wearing that thing and you'll be fine.
Be fine, yeah, no problem. Congratulations. A reminder, you can send your fan photos in. You don't even have to be at a game. It could just be you at a watch party or at home or a youth game, whatever you want. Send them to Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. Each Friday, we'll pick one winner, $50 gift card to go to Grimaldi's Coal Brick Oven Pizzeria. That's a nice, nice
prize.
Nice prize.
Yeah.
Kirk Ferentz is not retiring, or at least he has no plans to stop coaching. Ferentz will be 70 during his 27th year at Iowa as the head coach. He's been at Iowa longer than that. He was an assistant coach at one time. Here's Ferentz answering a question from the Register's Chad Leistico, also works here at Iowa Everywhere. And here's what Ferentz said about retiring.
Somehow we just keep moving forward. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't want to say frustrated, but a lot of things that really, make you step back a little bit and think and like, that's interesting. But the more the game changes, the more the circumstances change. It's still about being around good people, and our key is what we enjoy. I think I speak for our whole staff. When you get the right guys on your team, it's a lot of fun. And, we're a 100-plus population, so not everybody's going to be perfect, and we're not all going to be best buddies. But I think there's a mutual respect amongst our team and people in the program. And, to be part of that on a daily basis is pretty special.
So Ferentz has plans to come back. Does not surprise me at all. I think some people thought maybe this would be the time the schedule gets considerably harder next year. And there's no doubt that Ferentz is not a fan of many of the ways college football has changed dramatically just in the past few years. But he's also just a couple of wins from being the winningest coach in Big Ten history. and he loves coaching football. He doesn't play golf. He doesn't really have hobbies. I'm not surprised he's coming back. And the Hawkeyes are sitting there at 8-4 with a chance to be 9-4 when Ferentz gets to use his timeshare down in Tampa.
Yeah, I didn't think for a second that we would get any, excuse me, any kind of shocking news out of this. It just didn't. It felt like a year where, I mean, there were problems with at quarterback, the quarterback position, but it also just seemed like a year where he didn't have the same kind of, without Brian there and all of that, crap going around. It seemed like a more peaceful year for Iowa football.
All things considered, I agree.
I mean, it was not a record-wise, it wasn't a great year.
It was
just where he set that bar. Yeah, it was disappointing. It was 8-4.
Yeah, and people, fans, and even some in the media put it like college football playoff or bust, or at least college football playoff contender or bust, and neither of those happened. So 8-4 ends up being disappointing.
I also just want to say I'm kind of glad we don't live in one of those states where, the fan base, like Nebraska used to be, like I'm sure Ohio is, where, things don't go, like the fan base feels so empowered all the time, where if something doesn't go right, they can just whip themselves into a tizzy, go run out on the streets with torches and pitchforks and get the coach fired, or call for the coach to be fired, where it's just like it seems like there's always this, hair trigger reaction from a giant group of donors that may or may not mean that the coach is immediately on a hot seat. I really don't like those situations in college football. I like the fact that, we have shown ourselves to be more patient, and, not feel so entitled.
Don't you think Ryan Day could still be fired? He's 45-1 outside of the game against Michigan.
Yeah, I do. I just feel that way. I mean, I understand that he's got a great big buyout, and he's actually done really, he's done well, and it's much more complicated than that. But that fan base feels like nothing less than a championship game is good enough.
Right.
And Urban Meyer left them, right? I mean, and I'm sure that they've still got a lot of fans, Buckeye fans, wishing that Urban Meyer would come back.
They want him back.
But I think it could have been him or anybody else that left them, right? I mean, they're so used to not being left. They don't ever get left. Ohio State is the very top of the bin when it comes to college football.
Ryan Day is,
they're the hottest girl in school.
Ryan Day is
somebody breaks up with them. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Ryan Day's overthinking that Michigan game so much that he could be on Sipker and Kenzo's new podcast. I mean, they should go out there and win that game easily, but they're so hyper focused on it and so determined to just beat Michigan at power football that I don't even know that they completed a pass in the fourth quarter. It was just a really unfortunate loss. Question for you, Andy. 5 teams in major college football have won at least 8 games, 9 straight seasons.
Okay.
Who are they?
Ohio State.
8 or more wins, 9 straight seasons.
8 or more wins, 9 straight seasons. Ohio State,
yes.
Alabama.
Yes.
Oregon.
No.
Really? LSU.
No.
Dang,
you're doing well. Those are good guesses. No, but you're doing it. It's Alabama, Georgia,
that's
Ohio State, Clemson,
and
Iowa. Taking out the COVID
stepped right over the easy one. Yeah, right. Yeah, 8-4 for Iowa is a ho-hum season right now.
But the thing is, as AD and many other Hawkeye fans will point out, what do 4 of those programs have in that 9-year period that Iowa doesn't? A national championship.
Yeah.
A national championship. Yeah. And that's where Iowa fans are getting discouraged. It's not the record, it's not the appreciation of Kirk Ferentz or all these 8-win seasons or all these trips to what used to be the Outback Bowl, and it's now called ReliaQuest.
Yep.
ReliaQuest Bowl. Try to get excited about the ReliaQuest Bowl. But it just doesn't feel like, how long has it been since Iowa's been in a big game and won it or been competitive? Is it that Ohio State Woodshed game? It just feels like the
that was
Hawkeyes,
a regular season game.
Yeah.
Like
it's
in
been a
the middle of
time.
a season that I don't remember mattering all that much, but I mean, like being in a huge game that got them someplace, that took them someplace. I mean, when
certainly
was
wasn't
the
past 2 Big Ten championship games.
The floor is high, the ceiling is low.
You know, I can't believe that we lived as long as we did in the world with bowl games. Doesn't that just seem like horse and buggy? How dumb was that? That was so
VHS
stupid.
tapes.
I mean, no, I'm like,
you realize Iowa's going to a bowl game.
no, but I mean, where bowl games were, that was the top of the ladder. You know, making it to the Orange Bowl, making it to the Rose Bowl, making it to the Fiesta Bowl, where you would play the team that many other people think is the other best team in the country. I mean, or the other best team in the conference. And it was just like this, a bowl, like an allegiance, a conference allegiance to a certain bowl. So you would, but who came up with that stupid system? That seems so antiquated. I mean, it's just like something that's just for decoration. It's like a fruitcake. It's like, what's the point?
In the decades defense of, well, you can't play more games because these are student athletes.
Yeah.
And we're really
all the
concerned
travel,
about their academic schedule travel.
You can't ask a fan base to travel. You can't ask those guys to spend all that money. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Going to be spending money on a whole bunch of other shit, too. Wait until you see it. But, I mean, it was like when Nebraska would go to the Orange Bowl, and that was it. That was like the big game.
It's a big deal.
It was like a predetermined, like a prearranged marriage between 2 teams, or between a conference and a bowl game, and then 2 teams. Maybe the 2 best teams would happen to be in conferences that would pit teams against each other in a certain bowl game. It was like the stars had to align for you to just get the game that was so obvious.
And in the second round of the college football playoff, all of these games are going to be moved to neutral sites, therefore taking away from one of the most compelling aspects of college football, which is the campuses of the universities. Like this weekend.
And they're doing it so they can keep these dumb bowls.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
With a title sponsorship, basically.
All the way through the championship, we'll move to bowl games, and hopefully they rethink this quickly. But like this weekend, Andy, 4 of the 5 group of 5 conference championships are being played at the higher seeded school's home campus. Those games will be much more interesting than going to AT&T Stadium, which won't be full because it's so expensive, and it's a really expensive trip. Cyclone fans will show up. Arizona State fans will show up. But it won't be full, and it won't be as passionate. It would, whatever the tiebreaker is, and I don't know who the tiebreaker would favor. I guess maybe Arizona State. But how much more interesting would this game be there at what used to be Sun Devil Stadium, played in Tempe, or if Iowa State were to win the tiebreaker, playing in the cold this Saturday, Arizona State coming up to play that game? That is a far more compelling atmosphere and more of what makes college football great. And to go to these neutral sites in the second round, it stinks. The Lions last night improved to 12-1 with a win over the Packers. It was a great game. 34-31, the Lions won. And Dan Campbell, Andy, this guy needs to ride. He needs a sidecar for his balls. That's how big this guy's cojones are. I mean, he went for it on 4th down when a field goal wins it just to run the clock out. All of the analytics say you kick it there. Mm-hmm. All of them. He doesn't care. He goes gut feeling. Jared Goff stumbles. They still pick up the first down and wait longer, win it. I love it.
I think he's become everybody's second favorite coach in the NFL. I mean, your first favorite is the coach of your team, but does anybody not like Dan Campbell? I mean, the Lions don't really have any. They haven't been good long enough to have any real enemies. I mean, they have the other teams in their division, but I don't think Packer fans or Bear fans or Vikings fans dislike him. He's just he was a humble guy from the very beginning. The Lions have been grasping at straws for just years and years, filing through coaches, trying anything. And he's finally stuck. But he hasn't changed, right? I mean, he just kind of came in as this completely humble guy that probably would just admit to you that, hey, I got this job because the Lions don't know what the hell they're doing and they're just trying to get anybody to work. He's made it work there. I mean, they've drafted, they've finally wisened up and made some really good solid draft picks in the last number of years. And, they've been bad for a while, so obviously those draft picks have been pretty high and had a lot of potential. But I don't know. I'm having fun following this team. I think the Lions are an easy team to like, and they have a lot of connections to us.
One of his first lines when he's introduced as the head coach of the Lions was, "Sorry, it's not Matt Campbell.
Yeah,
I'm Dan Campbell." I know you were hoping for Matt Campbell.
Yeah, Matt. No, more people knew Matt Campbell than in Detroit.
And that's when Matt Campbell his name was coming up in virtually all openings at the college or NFL level. But Dan Campbell seems to have created this culture that reminds you of a college locker room or a high school locker room, where when you go talk to the players, like one of the first things they talk about is just how much they love this team and how much they love being a part of this team. And here is Dan Campbell in the locker room after the big win over the Packers last night.
I'm so freaking proud of you, man. That's the way to show up. You talk about pressure, we live in pressure. That's where we freaking thrive. You did it again. All right? It doesn't matter who's playing for us. It doesn't matter what's going on. You always find a way to win. This has been in the making, man. This has been in the making. All right? We were all supposed to be here together, man. We're destined for this. Just stay the course.
Man, those guys, it's very Dan McCartney-ish.
Yeah, and there's something. Is he a former lineman? I think he's a former lineman. He's a big dude. He looks like he's in the weight room, like in the next stack.
Yeah, he works out with the guys sometimes.
Yeah. He's probably spotting them. But he just seems like a fun guy to play for. I also think that, Detroit has been, as a city, has been down for so long.
Yeah.
I think, and they're such an important American city, that I think, seeing them get up off the mat finally has been kind of inspirational for all of us. I mean, last year when they were in the playoffs, they had Eminem was there, and all these other celebs tied to Detroit were there, and they made this huge deal out of it when they hosted the playoff game. Then they had the draft too, right? Didn't Detroit have the draft?
Yeah, Alabama. They showed up too.
They really made a big. So the Lions have been this kind of extra team for as long as I've been watching NFL football.
And good for us here because it's Cyclones, Hawkeyes. Just there's a lot of local angles to that team, and they have good uniforms.
Yeah, and they're a Midwestern team. Great uniforms. It's too bad they've always played in those dumb domes, but they just still seem like a team that makes you believe.
When there's a primetime game and you're not sure who's playing, when in doubt, guess the Chiefs. You're probably right. You're right half the time. This Sunday, it's the Chiefs and Chargers. And here is Joey Molinaro as Chris Collinsworth interviewing Patrick Mahomes and Jim Harbaugh.
Boy, Jim Harbaugh and Patrick Mahomes together in the same room with me. All I can say is, wow.
I don't know how I keep getting roped into these.
Coach, my last 2 sit-downs with Patrick, I've compared him to an alien and a magician. Now that you're going against him, what would you compare him to?
Good question. Coach, you really don't have to answer that.
No. It's a Jedi.
Okay.
You know, he's strong in the football force. Sees things before they happen. I say, the relentlessness of Darth Vader to conquer any adversary with the voice of Yoda.
Really, man?
Didn't see that one coming.
You know what?
Patrick.
This is fucking bullshit. Serious shit, man. I'm not.
Patrick.
How do I keep getting into this?
Don't go.
In these stupid interviews, man. Especially with him here. This bullshit. Stupid.
Upset him, that one did.
That guy's great. Joe, with the voices, man, just really good. Confluence is the official beer of Murph and Andy, and there is a watch party for anyone interested, looking for a good place to have a beer and watch football tomorrow. Big 12 championship, bringing in a projector and a big screen at Confluence. They have the best pretzels in the state of Iowa at Confluence and many different kinds. Other than that, you have to order the food in, but Andy, you can do that there, right? If you want to order in lunch, pizza, whatever.
You can bring it in. You can order it to the door. The guy will just walk in and deliver it there. I've seen pizza guys come in. And it is okay to ask for help when ordering a beer up there. People feel kind of dumb when they do that, but I mean, they have so many beers there. And John Martin is always coming out with new beers that have really long titles.
With some crazy names.
Yeah, crazy names. And sometimes you just got to be like, what's that? And they'll tell you.
Yeah, what kind of beer do you like? They'll walk you through it, or get a flight.
Yeah, you won't look dumb.
You know what time the doors open tomorrow?
Nope, I don't.
Okay.
I'm going to guess it's before the game, though.
Yeah, it's usually 11 on Saturday, so I'm guessing they'll open a little early for this.
Let's see if we can find that out. Scott's probably listening. Scott, find out from Confluence what time they're opening. Can you do that? Oh, it's time for Scott School? Yeah.
Scott School, Scott School, Scott School is cool. Yeah.
Scott?
Oh.
He probably went. He's probably calling Confluence.
There he is. He was trying to call
welcome,
Confluence.
Scott.
You guys did that one to me on purpose because I was in the other room watching on the YouTube, and hi guys. I was going to start off. I was going to wear my actual Iowa State helmet, but I didn't have time. Next week,
I think you can get the headphones over that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Okay,
which helmet is it? Let's see which helmet it is. No, I didn't mean to put it on. Just turn to the side for a second. Yeah.
Hold on. I got this.
Don't break them.
Try to wear it. Let's see how that goes. See, can you hear me?
I can. I'm going to turn you up a little bit. But
This is one more reason to watch YouTube, or maybe it's not. Many people watching through Facebook and X and the other sites. That helmet, though, Andy, as Scott sits there slightly uncomfortable, they need to stick with the Cyclone script. It's just so much more distinctive, and it looks better. I mean, it is.
You've been shitting on that logo for years. Let's just let them have it, right?
Let it be the university logo, but for
do
sports,
we all hate
the
this
Cyclones
logo?
look better.
Do we all hate this logo? Turn to the side, Scott.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's fine for Iowa State University, but for the teams, that Cyclones is just better. And it's unique. There aren't other Cyclones.
It does seem like they're always looking for ways to not use that logo.
I like the script, but our friend Eric Herman, who has done so many things for us, he is a logo expert, and he says this is a good logo.
It is very professional. It's well done. It is a well done logo. It's just. It could be Idaho State, could be
it's not unique
Illinois
in any
State.
way.
It's not. Yeah, it's just Cyclones is unique. Lean into that.
As an alumni
We're trampling old ground. Scott School. Let's get to Scott School. Scott School.
We already did that, Scott.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Scott School, Scott School, Scott School is cool. Yeah.
Is that helmet too tight? You
I
forgot
might have left
Scott
my
School
phone in the
didn't
other room.
And now
Hold
you're-
on. I got.
Don't just get up and walk away. You're wearing those headphones. I know you can't tell because you got that helmet on.
Oh, I got it. I remember what it was. So it's
oughta be
the
good.
time of the year, everybody, for Christmas. What's happening to my computer right now? Oh no, I'm stuck. Can you see me? Because I can't see you. I'm just going to continue
This
on.
segment should be called The Drowning Man.
So the tradition of holding or hanging stockings is an interesting one because it's based off of the fact that St. Nicholas used to drop gold coins down chimneys to poor families who would hang their stockings or their socks above the fireplace just to after they got washed, and then the coins would fall into the sock. And that's Scott School.
Scott School, Scott
That is
School,
not true.
Scott School is cool. Yeah.
That is true.
That's ridiculous. First of all, the chimney doesn't go straight over the socks. If the socks would burn up.
Yes, but he
How
drops
could you
it
put
and
the
it
socks that far?
bounces.
No.
If it bounced, they're trying to. Santa was trying to. He was playing quarters. Is that what you were saying?
Are you
He's
talking
a
about
big
the
fan of
guy?
He
Funko.
was trying to bounce the coin into the sock. Doing.
Are you talking about the Santa that got stuck in the chimney at the Carroll Can Redemption Center?
Oh my God, that was so funny.
I
That
wish
guy.
I do.
We can't.
But no, this is.
What
It's
the
okay.
heck was that?
Yeah, I don't know at this point. My life's falling apart, but it's better than ever.
Yeah,
Next week, before you
keep that helmet on.
do Scott School, who do it? Just put it out there.
Agreed.
I could use some help.
Okay,
Hoodoo
guys,
is freaking killing it.
I have a live update. I have Confluence's John Martin via text right now.
Okay, good.
Okay. I said, what time you guys open the doors tomorrow? He said 11 a.m. And then he immediately responds to his own text saying, but maybe we should open a little earlier since the game starts at 11.
Yeah, please.
Well, yeah, I mean, how long's it been since Iowa State's played at 11?
It's
Like anybody's
Over-
played at
feels
11.
like last year.
Forever, man. I mean, we're
John's
off guard.
probably thinking night
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, we start. Yeah, it's catching us off guard. Yeah, so I'll text him back. But if he's listening, definitely open the doors before the game starts. What
Yeah,
is
10:30
10:30 about right?
Yeah, I think
10:30.
10:30
that's
is good.
great.
You
Get
want
to-
to have a
get to-
chance to order your beer and sit down, get all straightened out.
Yeah,
but we'll find out.
10:30, John.
Let's get some more.
But wait, there's more from Either Or Eatery and Patio.
More is brought to you by Either Or Eatery and Patio, and don't forget, now through the end of the year, Either Or is doing its Christmas pop-up costume. It calls itself Tinsel right now, and it is so decked out. It is beautiful inside. They have new menu items on the drink list, on the appetizer list, on the regular entree list, and it just looks phenomenal. It's a great place to go take pictures. Got some really good selfie opportunities in there. And it just is really at it's dressed to the nines right now. Check out Either Or at 6222 Grand Avenue on the edge of Des Moines and West Des Moines.
My neighborhood.
Yeah, right in Scott's neighborhood. Event coordinator Sam Summers tells the Des Moines Register that Hinterland, the music festival we all know and love, is adding a new amphitheater and more water access for next summer's show.
Good.
Yes, he acknowledged that last summer's event did not go well. No, that got people were very upset. I mean, the problem is that Andrew, you're the one that goes to this every year. It's just gotten so popular.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
People
it was
care.
The crowd was so huge, and the lineup this past year was one that people from all over the country realized, hey, I could fly to Des Moines, go down to this, and tickets are so cheap compared to like a Coachella or some of these other big festivals. And you had Noah Khan, you had Chappell Roan, you had these big stars And so you had an influx of people from outside. You had all the people from Iowa going, and it was just too much. They weren't quite ready for it.
Do they need why do they need a new amphitheater?
That I don't know. That'll be interesting if they're going to do like a second stage, because this has always been a one-stage event.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of music festivals have multiple stages.
And there's logistical challenges with that as well if you try to have two bands playing at the same time.
I feel like this new one is going to replace the old one, or maybe the old one won't go away, but it's going to become the new main stage there.
Gotcha.
And apparently you can move around, and you'll be able to, when it's finished, it's not finished, but you'll be able to move around in it a little bit better. But, I mean, I have some friends that care a lot about this music event, and they are always angry at Sam. At Hinterland. I mean, that's the problem. When you have an event that has become very, very popular, everybody cares about it a lot.
Well, and it came together so quickly in St. Charles. Remember, it was supposed to be at Waterworks Park, and then it was flooded, so they had to move the first one down to St. Charles. They ended up keeping it there.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that they've had a lot of time to kind of reevaluate the way they're doing things until now. So I think that's a good idea.
Right. Also getting more and more expensive every year. Are we all laughing at that Scott looks like Lucas?
Dumb face.
Lucas with a beard in high school.
Oh my God! Yeah, in high school. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer turned 60 this year. 60 years old. What is this? Is this? This isn't claymation. Is this claymation?
It's
Doesn't look
stop.
like clay.
What do you call it, Scott?
Stop
it's like
motion.
stop motion
Stop
animation.
Yeah. I
Rudolph
still think
doesn't
that's
look clay though. He looks
clay with
healthy.
maybe some fuzz stuck on him. I have been watching this since I was a little kid, and it wasn't all that old when I started watching it. But I feel like it's still a really good story, and the Burl Ives snowman in there. We just can't. Nobody can focus. Scott, would you take that goddamn helmet off?
I'm not sure I can, to be honest.
You look like Mike Myers was playing that character. His mom would chain him to the jungle gym. Simon.
Hey, thanks for joining us on YouTube and the other ways you can see.
No, it wasn't Simon. It wasn't Simon. Simon was the kid that liked to, my name is Simon, and I like to do
Is it
drawings.
Patrick from Mad TV?
No,
Get away from me.
His mom would put it, make him
was,
wear
like,
a
leashed.
harness. It
Yeah.
would like harness him to the, tie him to the jungle gym so he couldn't run away.
Andy, I pledge that I'm going to try to keep it together.
All right.
And
Because we
pay
got to get
more
through the end
attention.
of this
I'm
damn
sorry.
show. All right.
All right.
From Zillow, the top 10 celebrities who'd probably make the best roommates. Won't go through the whole top 10 here, but number one is Ryan Reynolds. He's
that'd be a
rich.
lot.
You know he's always got booze.
Yeah.
Seems like a nice guy too, doesn't he?
Good cell-phone plan.
Yeah,
good self-help.
he's funny. He likes sports. Seems like a good family man, a good friend. He and Hugh Jackman have that bromance that seems really cool. Yeah, I think he'd be a good roommate.
Taylor Swift is second. That's probably not a surprise there, as popular as she is. But then we go to the.
I don't know. This seems a little like a high maintenance roommate.
She does.
No. Don't
Yeah.
ever. You think Taylor Swift is high maintenance? Take that out of your mouth. You want that? Are you kidding me? Taylor Swift is perfect.
She's
Yeah,
perfect.
She's never done anything wrong. Never
Exactly.
do anything wrong.
No,
Man,
I mean,
don't come at us. Come at
Nope.
Murph.
Hey,
Well,
Swifties,
okay.
Murph thinks
All right,
Taylor's
Seems
stupid.
like she would be nice.
She does seem nice. How about this?
Very good music.
She's good
if
looking.
anything goes
To hang out
wrong,
with Travis Kelce.
it's going to
Yeah.
be worse than the Kopcha brothers have it. She's going to write a song about her time with you as a roommate. And anything you did wrong or did embarrassing, it's in that song.
You're talking about Adele.
No, I'm talking about Taylor Swift. She's got all kinds of
No, but
songs
Adele is
about
the one
things
that
have happened.
really torches the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Just burns him down.
Adele is one of the few people I've rooted against her romances because as soon as she gets a
Better
broken
music.
heart, that's going to be a great album.
And she gets out there and just belts it out, too. There's
Oh,
no
her
way.
voice.
Do Murph and Andy get a tax deduction for having Scott on once a week?
People are on fire.
It's really, really funny. But among the athletes, though, the athletes that people would most want as a roommate, Simone Biles is number one, which I can only assume is because she doesn't take up much room, right?
Very short.
Yeah.
You could put her in a shoebox almost. LeBron James.
LeBron, he's an opposite. He's a big dude.
Big dude, but nice guy, and seems like he does nice things for people.
No one's gonna mess with you. LeBron James. Is
He might be.
walking
He'd be flopping a lot.
His kid will be around a lot.
Yeah, his kid would be around a lot, and yeah, if you leave a towel on the bathroom floor, he'd be tripping all over that. And,
Yeah.
oh God!
You slightly bump into him. Oh!
Yeah.
He just flops back.
And then Caitlin Clark is third.
Caitlin Clark.
What do you know?
Her roommate at Iowa was Kate Martin. They were roommates.
Kate
They
Martin
seem
seems like
they
she
still
might
get
be
along.
a better roommate out of all of these people. She seems really cool to me.
Well, you said that Taylor Swift was perfect.
When you're roommates with somebody, I mean, you find out stuff about them that like you don't want to know,
including your spouse.
Yeah,
Scott's gonna have creases on his face from this helmet for the rest of the day.
Just a
the
big
Peyton
red
Manning
spot.
red bar.
Yeah.
From BuzzFeed, things we once took for granted that we don't anymore. Number one, appliances that last a long time. Somebody brought this up the other day. Like, I honestly think my mom had the same washer and dryer for my entire life.
Was it avocado green or just basic
It was white. It was white. And when my parents finally moved out of their house in St. Louis, I think that's finally, they were just like, yeah, we're not going to take the washer and dryer with us. That was it. I mean, those things lasted forever. They were mechanical. And now it's like, the motherboard will go out on your washer or dryer, and it's $150 just to have the guy come over and look at it, and then, they have to replace that. Doesn't it seem like that stuff doesn't last as long as it used to?
And I would also suggest that if stuff like that happens, don't pay $150 to have some guy just come look at it. List it on Hoodoo. Seriously, get a bid so you know exactly what it's going to cost before you even have somebody come out. It's so much better of a system.
I was hoping we would reach a point in this show where Scott would be making a serious pitch while wearing that football helmet.
This is one of the few times where it might be a benefit to not be watching the show, to just listen.
Number two, calling a business and getting a live person on the other end. Oh God, yes. Full service at the gas station. Murph, you would remember that. Andrew and Scott, you probably don't even remember that.
Oregon. It still is that way in Oregon. And so the first time I was out there, I was, with my anxiety, I almost decided I was just going to not get any gas because I don't know, am I supposed to tip this person?
It was
crazy.
Yeah. Like you didn't tip him, but it's crazy. Like that was back in the day where you didn't have a cell phone. So you were just sitting in the car as someone would come up, fill your gas,
check your oil,
wash your windows, check your oil. Yeah, you didn't pay him anything. Now, full service gas did eventually cost more than self-serve, but that's kind of where the whole self-serve thing came up, right? At the gas station, self-serve.
It's just one more way, Andy, we lost connection face to face. I mean, I can remember as a kid being at Frisbee's Golf, and Walt Frisbee was the guy that would come out. He owned the place, and I remember I can tell my dad and my mom, but more my dad, look forward to getting gas and having a little conversation, catching up on the families. What are you doing? All of that. It would you really got to know that person at your local gas station, and
now the businesses are like, oh no, we can have one person running the entire get and go, just the whole station, gas pumps, the inside and everything, and they'll only get robbed once a month.
Prayers up to the get and go employees.
How much easier was it to rob a gas station 50 years ago?
I don't know.
Seems like
it was
a good
probably
business
harder.
model.
They had more than one person working there all the time. All right, let's move on. Keith has an idea for more. He wants to try this out today. It's where we take a look around Facebook Marketplace to see what kind of random shit that people are selling.
We want local Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Hit us up
All
if
right.
you find something good. Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com.
Okay, all right. The first thing, though, I don't think this is local. I think you found this in Pennsylvania somewhere, right? Is this in Warren, Pennsylvania? The Senior Crochet Club of Warren, Pennsylvania is selling.
It doesn't have to be local.
Yeah, it's selling handmade dolls at this year's Christmas parade.
Oh my God!
And the dolls have real human hair.
Oh,
this is a horror movie.
What else does it say on that? I forgot to look at this. It was really funny. The woman is trying to really sweeten the deal here, and she's like, "Yeah, they've got real human hair. Here it is. Handmade dolls. These wonderful dolls will have actual human hair thanks to the generous donations from local funeral homes."
Oh.
Are you kidding me? If you'd like to pre-order a doll or more information on joining the club, please call the club's secretary at the number listed.
This is the doll of nightmares.
What is wrong with its mouth? I mean, it's just.
What do you do with
trying
that?
not to even consider.
Mention the mouth. All right, here's the other one Murph found. He likes this one. This is local. This is just over in West Des Moines. Somebody's selling a plush brown chair with ottoman. Now, the ottoman is not pictured, but the plush brown chair clearly is. This chair is so
Plush?
not plush. This chair has
not plush.
More miles than a set of bald tires. Look at this thing. Look at how beat up it is.
Look at the side
They're
of
selling
it.
it for $1. They're selling it for $1, but it's
That
just
was
just
the first bid. The first bid was $1. But Andy, what does someone
okay.
really want from this?
They want somebody to pick this thing up and get the hell out of their house. Yeah.
If I may just say again, a great way to haul shit away is Hoodoo. Post this on not Facebook Marketplace, on Hoodoo. Somebody might come pick it up for $20, take it away.
Yes. Anytime you book a job on Hoodoo, Hoodoo gives $1 to Scott's College Fund.
To me being able to get Iowa State the best quarterback on the market. That's
that
what you're
piece of-
investigating.
Piece of shit chair there. That chair has been moved in and out of at least 5 different apartment complexes. And it was up against some other piece of furniture so that when they turned it,
Is it
it
a
wore
cat?
off that
what the heck
fake
happened
leather.
here?
Yeah, is that pleather?
Totally. From the
Pleather,
files
not
of Some Headlines Don't Need Stories, we bring you this. Former Amish woman became a successful, happy stripper. Now, here she is, and to me, she does kind of look like an Amish woman turned stripper. Her name is Naomi Schwarzentruber.
Schwarzentruber?
Schwarzentruber, no CH. Naomi Schwarzentruber. She left her strict Amish community at 17 and became a stripper 2 years later, finding empowerment and independence in a career that lasted 20 years. So apparently she's 37. Though her journey from an Amish upbringing to the stage was unconventional, she says, "When I stepped on that stage, something came alive inside of me." Now Naomi shares her story through her memoir, The Amazing Adventures of an Amish Stripper, and social media pages to inspire others, reflecting on her path to freedom and the balance she's found between her roots and the pole. So she has a book. There's a book out. You can get it on Amazon, of course. The Amazing Adventures of an Amish Stripper. With the Amish turn, I thought it was like 15 or 16, maybe it's 17. They do this thing called Rumspringa, where they have to like go out into the world and then decide, see the world, and then decide if they want to become Amish, like go all in on Amish. They're raised Amish, but then they got to decide if they want to rededicate themselves to the Amishness.
Go whole
So
hog.
apparently she went out on Rumspringa and went straight to Mons Venus down in Tampa, just went straight to the pole, and just love the fact that guys are throwing wadded up dollar bills at her. And she's
Hey,
like,
none of that takes any
I ain't going
electricity."
back.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Matt said when she takes the stage, he posts on YouTube, when she takes the stage, they turn the lights off and everybody lights a candle.
Yeah, nice.
Oh my gosh. All right, a few of you in the comments have been waiting for the Amish stripper story. Let's hit some thumbs up there for the effort.
Yeah, Rob Hammerschmidt says, can we get a discount code for that Page turner?
Isn't that what they... Didn't you say Hammerschmidt was what the Amish do at 16 to go out into the real world? Is that the word?
Hammer is an old friend of mine, and he has heard all of those jokes. I still would trade his last name for mine any day.
Well,
oh,
yeah,
God.
you think Fales is worse than it is.
Hammerschmidt, everybody just called him Hammer. He's stuck with
Hammerschmidt's
that.
a great
He's a
name.
big dude. He's a really kick-ass rugby player. What a perfect name for a rugby player. Rob Hammerschmidt. You kidding
Andy,
me?
before we move to the next item, hit us with Chris Rock's advice about the one thing a father has to do.
Yeah, you look at that little girl. All I got to do is keep you off the pole. That's
it.
all I got to do as a father is keep your ass off the pole. That's true.
The one job.
Today's stupid criminal is Andrew F. Klinghorn of Ellington, Connecticut. He is due in court after being arrested for walking naked through Papa T's restaurant in front of patrons on Friday evening. Police say Kinghorn came in just after 6 p.m. fully clothed, requested a menu, then spent 10 to 15 minutes in the restroom before emerging completely nude.
Anybody say I didn't order pepperoni and sausage?
I want to put a bun around that hot dog. He caused alarm among diners. It says, Andrew, put that picture back up again. It says like family dining on it. It's like home-style cooking, family restaurant. The worst place to walk in there and find a naked man walking out of the bathroom. Troopers arrived to find him still naked but compliant when asked to put his clothes back on. He's now facing multiple charges with a court date set for next week. All right, let's wrap up this segment of more with some Christmas cheer from our good friend, Mr. Methane.
Wow. What was the move with the shorts?
He was spreading out his sphincter muscle so that he could kind of get a different...
Was he gathering air?
He was
I don't.
in.
You don't want to know.
Reloading.
Don't ask.
Get that chamber full.
What's that guy doing with his butt cheeks?
Andy, you were busy, so you may have missed this comment from Dan. This is great.
Hour and 17 minutes. I can never get back.
Yeah. Welcome to Murph and Andy, Dan. You may not be back, but
this is his first time.
I'm glad he stuck around for the whole hour and 17, though.
You. We're glad to have you. You know, give it a chance. Some people like it over time.
Kind of greasy toward the end, says Marty.
yeah.
I know. Yeah. All right. That's your more, everybody.
Man, the Birkwood Bullseye is back. Email us at Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com for a chance to shoot the Birkwood Farms Bullseye for prizes when we broadcast live from their shop on Northeast 14th Street in Des Moines. That's coming up Friday, December 20th. It'll be a fun show, and everybody who's there, everybody who wins a chance to win the grand prize will win something nice from Birkwood Farm. So tell us how you'd use Birkwood Farm products to make your holidays better. All contestants, again, will go home with something nice. And today's winner is Jarrett Dewar. Hope I'm saying your last name right, Jarrett. His wife recently found out she's intolerant to gluten, dairy, and other things, but bacon and other meats are still on the table.
All right.
Yo!
So he'd love some Birkwood Farm meat for the holiday table and charcuterie board. So Jarrett, we'll see you on the 20th at Birkwood Farms to shoot at the Bullseye. All right, our friends from Iowa Chill, and Iowa Chill's a good follow on Facebook or X or social media. They do a really good job of uniquely Iowa things. And today, or in the last couple of days, they've asked people for the best town nicknames in the state of Iowa, something we've done before and we always have fun with. They got it started with Dirty Dodge and Muskastink. Also, Skankany.
Skankany's good.
Yeah, what else should we add? And if you're in the comments, What
Look,
what
I
what you
live
doing there? Media?
Is that muscatine?
Yeah, muscatine.
Muscatine is methcatine.
Methcatine.
Yes, or
All right.
muscatoon.
Lames. We hear lames.
Lames. Ballsack City.
Cedar Rapids.
Mason Shitty. Sewer City.
Sewer City. Good one.
Council Tucky. Cedar Rapids, you already said.
The Lou. I mean, they don't all have to be put
Undy-
downs, I guess. People say the
Undy
Lou about
Grundy
Waterloo.
Center.
Ascumwa.
A scum. That's a good one.
That's one I've heard before.
Oskaloosa.
Scumble.
Garbage.
Urban Hell.
Garbage.
Yeah, that's
Boone,
Clinton,
Tucky.
Iowa.
Clinton.
Tuna Town. Is Altoona?
Taking the old skin boat to Tuna Town.
How about Fart Dodge?
Fart Dodge. Yeah, that's a good
Hell's
one.
Dead Moines.
Dubuque.
Dubuque.
That's good.
Dubuque.
Dubuque's a good one.
That's a natural.
Yeah.
Instead of Balltown, it's Dick and Balltown.
That's really reaching to.
My
just
brother's
say dick
wife
and
is from
balls.
Sac City.
Sac City.
And-
Yeah,
yeah.
it's Ballsack City.
Yeah.
How many
yeah.
times did Hassel find a way to work in Sac City on sound off over the years? At least 10
Dick-
times.
Well, it's Dick and Sac City would always call. Gary!
Imagine if Hassel met a Sac Indian. Like, what would he? You actually get a native who's the Sac.
The Sac
and I
and
don't know
Fox
if he'd
tribe,
be able
yeah.
to compute that he's talking to a Sac.
Sorry, didn't know. Sac City is named after a Native American Indian tribe.
Yeah. The Sac and Fox tribe. Yeah, it is. But it's actually
know that.
not though. It's Ballsack City, and they shorten it to Sac City.
He said, oh no.
Sewer City, right?
Sewer City.
We built Sewer City.
Had
On
that
rock
one.
and rolls. That's what I heard.
Well, what else? What's Carroll? Isn't Carroll have
And like
something?
nobody really, Carroll's Carroll, Seatown, sometimes people call it, but we don't really have a nickname.
What's the city of 5 smells or 3 smells or whatever?
That's
that
Cedar
is?
Rapids.
Cedar Rapids.
Is it
Yeah.
5 smells?
Yeah.
My mother-in-law is from Wall Lake, so what's that? Ball Lake.
Wall Lake's a unique place.
Yeah, there's no lake, no
Nope.
wall either.
No wall.
There's no lake in Wall Lake?
No. Nope.
That is ironic. That might be my new example.
It absolutely is. Yes, you would think that you'd be like, "Where's the?" People would pull over and be like, "All right, I'm ready to fish. Where's the lake?" And they'll be like, 3 towns over,
There's no wall.
Black Hawk Lake. Yeah,
And there's no
Nope.
lake?
Nope, there's no wall.
There's probably a few walls.
Well, there's no like single. There's no like Trump wall around the town or anything.
A medieval wall is surrounding.
Yeah, like a Great Wall of China. Yeah, it's like a moat around.
We're
it.
keeping all those people from Lake City out of here.
Did we come up with enough names, Murph? I feel like you're disappointed.
No, I think we did well. And the suggestions have been good. And Lake City doesn't have a lake either?
No,
I
I don't think it does.
It's not a
no.
city.
There's Black Hawk Lake is
Mackie
in
Motors.
I don't know.
Man,
Where's
this is a lot for Friday. I may have to start drinking earlier. It is time for 3-way throwdowns here on Murph and Andy.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns. Backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
I'm not sure how to follow all that, but
God, there is
Andy-
no lake in Lake City.
No.
Jesus.
All right. Andy, last Saturday got ugly on the Midfield logo of a bunch of different college football games. Should the Midfield logo be sacred, or is it fair game to celebrate, pray, plant a flag on the opponent's logo?
I don't think it's dumb to say it's sacred, but it is your field to do what you want with. So if you've got it blocked off at the beginning of the game because you're going to do something on it, then the visiting team needs to respect that. After the game, I felt like Ohio State looked childish, and they got punked in that game. And then all of a sudden, a game that what they should have been worried about is losing that game. What they seemed far more worried about was all the bullshit that came afterwards. And so, while I understand that it just enrages everybody and gets all angry, I don't think it is because of any sort of, sacred meaning of the logo on the field. I think that would have happened anywhere on the field. That they would have gotten a fight anywhere with Michigan because they were mad at themselves. But I don't know. I'm giving you a yes and no answer here, but I don't think that that's sacred. But at the same time, it is a part of the home team's field. So if they want to control the whole thing, that's their prerogative.
Yeah, if I'm a Buckeye fan, I'm most annoyed that the most passion Ohio State showed was in the fight, not in the game, with all those stakes.
Absolutely.
That was really disappointing. And then there's the stupidity of trying to plant a flag into artificial turf, which has been tried repeatedly. That's idiotic. But I think if you're going to try to plant a flag on somebody else's field, you should expect to be tackled. I mean, it's going to happen. Expect it. Now, is that person going to be fined or get in trouble? Maybe. But I think you should expect to be taken down. Nobody wants it. You don't want that in your own front yard or backyard. Somebody can howl at the moon across the street, but you don't want it in your yard.
If you do that, to jump off of Murph's point, because I agree, you can do it, but you should get punched in the mouth. Like, you got to know, like, I'm doing something antagonistic. I'm going to have to pay for this, and I'm okay with it. So as long as you're okay with that, go ahead, pay the price.
Quick question. Which is dumber? Which is more foolish? Trying to plant a flag into artificial turf or punching a guy in the head who's wearing a helmet?
Punching a guy in the head that's wearing a helmet. No doubt.
Wish you were closer, Scott.
I've watched in The Mandalorian every episode. Somebody's punching this guy in this impenetrable face. And you're like, what? How is this? What? This is dumb.
All right, moving on. Murph, the Iowa men are at Michigan tomorrow afternoon in Big Ten play. The Iowa women play Tennessee in a battle of unbeatens in Brooklyn tomorrow night. Which Hawkeye basketball game is more compelling?
It's the women's game to me. The battle of unbeatens, and the Iowa women are just it continues to be. They're just a blast to watch. They have such a positive energy. And it's not surprising. It was that way last year, but they had a superstar last year. And now they go from Lisa Bluter to our longtime head assistant, Jan Jensen. And Jan just radiates positivity and fun. And the women on the team just look like they're having a blast, and it's contagious. And I'm just enjoying seeing them play. So I would be more interested in that game, I'm surprised to say.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. Are they more likable now than they were last year? I mean, they were really likable last year with Caitlin Clark and Lisa Bluter, but now you're like rooting for them because they're proving to the nation that they are more than just one player or about one, the coach. I mean, and everybody loves Jan Jensen. I think they've become just a feel-good story.
Definitely going with the women.
Yeah, they lost the greatest player in college women's basketball history. I mean,
and
everything backs that up.
If you just look at it from the coaching point of view, the women have a coach that everybody loves. The men have a coach that very few people can stand. And we're talking about Iowa fans. That makes, for me, that makes it easy.
All right, Scott, tomorrow's the biggest game in Cyclone football history. What is the best place to watch a game that you're really emotionally invested in?
On my couch in front of my television. It's just, I would like the idea of being in the stadium, but just as I have learned, there's something about being at home when you really need to focus on the game and understand the narratives and what the hell is happening. I want to watch it on TV. That's where I want to be.
I agree. If I'm emotionally involved, I don't want other eyes on me. And that's easier at home. I think it's more fun to be with your buddies or in a bar or just with your friends and family somewhere outside your home. But as you know, AD, when you're emotionally invested, that is a different game watch.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go the other way here. I'm going to say it's best at a bar with a big crowd of people who are all on your side. They're all rooting for the same team. You're all rooting for the same team because we all know that many, many times I have sat there and watched by myself a game that I'm way too invested in and way too emotional about. And you sit there and then two things happen. All right. Either you lose and you sit there in your own misery. Like you could barely watch it. Sometimes you turn it off and you feel horrible and you just feel so small. It's awful. Or you win and you're, where is everybody? I can't, there's nobody to high five. You just an empty high five. There's nothing. You can't, there's nobody to celebrate with. So what do? You're texting everybody. That's no way to celebrate. You want to be in a place where you can go nuts with a bunch of your people, because otherwise you win. What are you going to do tomorrow if you're watching by yourself? You're going to have to go out and find a bunch of other Cyclone fans and party. If you're already there and you lose, they all lost with you. You all help each other cope. If you win, oh man, you're exactly where you want to be.
I had a friend once who jumped in a lake.
I remember that friend.
Yeah,
That was you
I was in
after
Canada.
the Blues won.
I was in Canada. There was nobody else to celebrate with, and Bryce and Ken were just basically like standing back, trying not to get hit by anything. Yeah, just daring me to do stuff. So I was texting and emailing friends, but I wasn't around a bunch of my people. And that's what you want. There is no better feeling than being in a crowd of your people when your team wins a big game. That's like that is one of the key components to being a sports fan.
All right, that's Throwdowns.
All right, thank you, AD. And it is time for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day. We call it the AD Squared. Here's Mr. T.
Powered by Game Day Men's Health. I go to the one in Ankeny in the Prairie Trail neighborhood. You can visit them on University in West Des Moines or North Liberty on the eastern side of the state. Go up there for a consultation. They'll let you know what you need, what you don't need, help you feel better as we get older. We need a little help, guys, so Game Day can help you out. It is Friday, so some parental advisory is necessary. None of these bleeps are necessary. It's all innocent conversation. A lot of it had right here on the show, although it seems less and less innocent week by week. But I have placed bleeps to make you hear things that aren't actually being said. Shout out to Jimmy Kimmel Live for the idea. It is this week in Iowa, unnecessary censorship.
If that ever happened on a Dan McCarney team, he would put his foot so far up his player's ass, the breath would have smelled like shit. I mean, he would never stand for that.
We said that Monday, if Jamie Pollard had walked out to midfield and just Paul Rhodes right then and there, no one would have been surprised. No one would have blamed him, and everyone would have said, well, it was coming. Might as well get it over with.
You got to watch the video here. I'll just describe it to you. He's standing on his seat, f***ing the back of the seat, really just trying to destroy it.
In this weather, your skin feels frozen, and just to take a big and get back up.
A buddy of mine posted a picture. He was like f***ing his car, and I about puked up my coffee this
That's how I feel when I see the dead animals when I'm scrolling Facebook.
You know, not only did Garfunkel have to be a tall, skinny guy with a, white man's fro, Paul Simon had to be short and like this incredible guitarist who finger everything.
Jeez. AD, all those finger picked. All those beeps are unnecessary.
Yeah, every one of them.
Quickie poll results are, what are you laughing at, Andy? Is it Wankeny?
No, finger picked.
Okay.
The way that Andrew just takes these things and just mangles
I know,
them.
just destroys them. Quickie poll results are presented by WCI Pools and Spas.
Which would be a bigger deal for Cyclone football?
Oh, so close.
Big 12 championship win or making the college football playoff field?
Well, win the Big 12 championship, and both of these happen.
Yeah, so that's the leader right now. Yeah, 52-48 is the count right now. Yeah, it's something they haven't done before. right? I mean, they don't have a Big 12 championship trophy.
No.
That is, until you've done it, you can't say you've done it. And that would be quite a trophy to add. Now, if you win and then you immediately lose in the first round of the college football playoff, I don't think that has the same feeling to winning the conference tournament or the conference and the conference tournament or whatever. Whenever, when you have a really good season and you lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament, that just seemed like all of a sudden that's all that mattered about that season. I don't feel like that's going to be the case here with
Not
only
yet.
12 teams
In
the
years to
playoffs.
come, I think that making the playoff will be much more important. But for right now, it would be a better legacy move to have that conference title, I believe.
And we will know 24 hours from now.
That's
From
so
now.
cool.
How about that? How about that? Yeah, there's a big get-together at Texas Live tonight down in Arlington. Both Arizona State and Iowa State are having pregame rallies down there tonight. I think it lasts a long time at something
Well,
called
what do you know about the
Texas
Arizona
Live.
State fan base, Murph? What are they like?
They have not been that engaged. We've been to games the past 3 years as Colin's been in school there, and it was kind of apathetic while they were losing. And then this year, like from Colin, his friends, his fraternity, parents, the fans, the end of the season, the games were sold out. Everybody's fully engaged. It's a reminder that winning changes everything. I saw from StubHub yesterday, the 45% of the tickets purchased are from people in Texas. 13% are from people in Utah. 10% people in Iowa, 9% Arizona. And the average ticket price sold is $280.
I would say a good amount of those people in Arizona are probably Iowans.
What's the Utah connection? Like, why are people going to the game from
probably
Utah?
Did BYU expect that they were going to make it, and still they're hoping for a Mormon miracle?
I'm sure that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
could be.
Maybe
That's-
somehow BYU will still make that game.
It's good deductive reasoning there. They bought those tickets to see what would happen. Scott, before we go, take the helmet off. Let's see how much damage there is.
Yeah, let's see the marks. Oh,
There's a guy who's never taken a helmet off.
Not too bad.
It doesn't look too
No,
bad.
it doesn't really.
No.
No, it's actually this is a game worn helmet, and it's fit very well for my head. I didn't wear it in a game, but
Yeah, we guessed that, Scott.
Yeah,
We had a good idea.
Would it be funny if his eyes were crossed now?
oh, I should have thought of that.
Would have been a good bit. All
Ah.
right. Well, Andy, do you have an answer yet on the doors at Confluence? Expecting 10:30?
10:30.
John is a very busy guy.
Just get in line.
Yeah.
Just be there.
All right.
I told
I'll
him
be there.
I told him 10:30. I think 10:30, and he knows. He's aware of the situation. Those doors will be open tomorrow at Confluence. Great place to watch the game. You can't find better beer, and they will have a huge screen. on
Bringing
that
in a
back
big
wall.
screen. That's nice. All right. Thank you for being part of Murph and Andy and the longest show we've ever done. That was for you, Dan. Search Iowa everywhere to find us, and please like and subscribe. It helps the local product stay local. Remember, this is the final day to go to the merch store at iowaeverywhere.com. You can get Two Guys gear, Murph and Andy, support local, you name it, Iowa Everywhere. It's all there. It's reasonably priced. Shipping is $5 no matter how much you order anywhere in the United States. We are back Monday, and we hope you are too.